It's time for another show full of tips and ideas from the sales growth leadership expert, Dean Akers. Known for his experience in hyper-growing companies and creating cultures for high-performance teams, here's Dean.
Well, welcome to your Sales Leadership Ninja Show. I'm your head ninja, Dean Akers, and every week I bring you a rant to stimulate your thinking in either the realms of sales and or leadership. Today's show is titled, What's the Customer Really Worth to You? The reason I ask this question is because the indifference I see with clients or with people in the engagement of their customers and clients, and this is true at all levels. In the holidays, I particularly really notice it. And let's start with how you assign value to your customer. So when I ask this question, and I ask people all the time, what's your customer worth to you? And they'll look at me and they go, what do you mean? And I go, well, what's a customer worth to you? And they go, I don't know. I mean, they're worth a lot. And I go, what's a lot? And I'll use a restaurant. And I go, okay. If you have a diner that comes in twice a week, an average ticket is $20, $40 a week, times 52 weeks or 50 weeks. Let's just say they came in 50 weeks. Let's just say they came in half the time. 50 weeks were worth $2,000 to you. Now, if a client's worth $2,000 to you, is that a lot of money? If you look at the gross sales or the amount of times that customers come in, that could be a very valuable customer. Do you know that? If you have a customer that does business with you and they do a transaction, the transaction's $10,000, or they buy a car from you and the transaction was $50,000, and they leave and they bought your car, how do you go about understanding the value of that customer? And I'll give you an example. When somebody buys a car, is that the last car they're ever going to buy? The answer is no. The average person buys a car every 3 years. Real estate's even more interesting. The average person moves every 5.5 years. So if you have a client that you sell a house to, you want to keep a relationship, because if they're in their 30s, you could have 5 more transactions. Now what's their value to you? I can't tell you how many people after a transaction, they're off to try to get another one, which doesn't mean you're not always prospecting, but you've got to understand the true value of a customer. So when you know this value per year and lifetime, it'll shock you into how you treat them. And so you're probably wondering, what in the world's got you triggered on this today, Dee? Well, here's examples, and these are like pet peeves of mine, but they really set me off during the holidays. And my number one is people that send out that holiday card. This is one of my biggest pet peeves of touches and not knowing customer value. They send a holiday card that's already pre-printed, pre-addressed, pre-stamped, and even use services, and they send it to a mailing list. It absolutely reeks of non-special customer. And candidly, a lot of times it just goes to the reception desk, they open it and they staple it on a wall or something. But it's still, if you hand address one to a customer and write them, Bill, thank you for this past year, I look forward to next year, or Susie, or whatever, it just means a lot more. Now let's even go worse than that. And this is not, I can't even imagine this. But the next one is the people that send out these crazy emails, these mass emails with a generic holiday message. I bet everyone that really gets one thinks, wow, they're so considerate of me to include me in their email blast. That ain't happening. So really what you're talking about, the holidays just exacerbates it. And the holidays to me is almost the least important touch of the year, because everybody's bombarding people with these I call soft touches. So when you really look at the value of a client, then you want to look at how to reach out and keep them engaged all the time. And by the way, it's not a lot about spending a lot of money. Examples I use and some of my ninjas use is, we'll go and let's just say you're tracking them on social media and you see a special picture that they post of their family, or something they post that they just won an event. I'll take that and I'll right click it, and then I'll send it off and get it printed into a 4x6 picture, and then I frame it in 5x7 frame and mail it to them. Now you're going to go, really? Really? Not very high tech, but it makes us smile and it's unique. And what's crazy is the people that I've gone in their offices or seen them 20 years later, and they still have one of my touches on their desk or in their on their wall or something. So when you do these unique touches, it really shows a high level of appreciation to the client, but it also shows your genuine appreciation. And it's not agendaed. It's not, oh, thank you, please send me more business. And by the way, the Christmas holidays in my mind are always the least important time to show your appreciation, although it tends to be when people send bottles of wine and stuff. I look for unique opportunities all through the year. What do you think a client would think if you sent that unique bottle of wine? Not at Christmas when they may get 10 other bottles of wine, but if you sent it on their birthday and you knew their wife's name and you said, Mary and Fred, I hope you have a wonderful birthday. Hope you enjoy this bottle of wine. Another touch that I always get a kick out of that we did years ago is we made recipe cards for this just killer pie at Thanksgiving. And we would send it out with a handwritten, hand-addressed, stamped note to clients. And the funniest thing is we sent it to non-qualified clients that had come in, or people that could have been a client, but they didn't qualify. And somebody would ask me when I share this story, they go, well, why would you waste effort, time, and everything else? Because the client was worth a lot to us. And what we knew is the person that wasn't qualified knew and hung around with people that would be qualified. And when they started talking about us, which in fact did happen, they would say, wow, so-and-so sent me this Thanksgiving Day recipe for a pie. It was so cool. And they're with a handwritten note, and I can't even be a customer. And they'd be telling their friends about it. And their friends will, who's so-and-so? And they go, oh, it's so-and-so over there. And they go, oh, wow, I've been thinking about getting that done. Well, let me hook you up. I got to tell you, being genuine with customers is so important. And what's crazy is when you really start evaluating their value, it's even crazier. I mean, I have people that have direct, inbound leads, and they call them once or twice, and then they blow them off. They don't do any research, and the leads are worth a fortune to them, but they just keep blowing them off. And I go, those people reached out. I would be doing deeper dives and figuring out how I could create value out of that lead / turn them into a customer. So when you're dealing with customers and you are assigning values to them, you will be shocked at your lack of attention to clients and how small your client base really is, whether you're in retail, whether you're in any kind of industry. I don't even care. When you're not reaching back out and creating unique touches to your clients or your past clients to get them to come back and to keep your name top of mind with them, you're missing a big chance of increasing your sales and growing your business. So today's assignment is, I want you to look at all your customers. Then I want you to sit down with your team and say, what are they worth to us? How much could they spend a year? How are we reaching back out? How are we showing them special? If you have a restaurant, are you sending them a note on their birthday saying, hey, come on in and get a free dinner or whatever? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, because if they're a loyal customer, they're going to talk about it. And if they talk about it, their friends are going to come in and your sales are going to continue to grow. By the way, nowhere in today's did I say you need to throw out a discount, give them more, cheaper, better. Just give them a great value and they will rave about you. And once you know what customers are worth, you'll know how valuable they are. And then I want you to start treating them with the true value that they have to you. Thanks for tuning in each week, and remember to share if this helps you. My book, Self-Talk, Think Like a Child, is always available on Amazon. And if you ever have a question, always just email me at dean@deanacres.com, and I'll be glad to help you. Also, if you're in sales management and you want me to help your sales team, you can also reach out, and I'll go through the CV list. We'll do these things. We will get your sales hyper growing, because the things I share on shows like this, on our podcast, really, really resonate when you start deploying them through your company. And sometimes you may have a challenge deploying them. That's where you can call me or reach out to me at dean@deanacres.com, and I'd be glad to help your individual company grow and hypergrow and be successful. So remember, you really, really look at what your customer's worth to you, then show them how much you genuinely value them. Have a great week.
We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Subscribe today to our podcast and send questions or thoughts to help@deanacres.com. Also, visit us at www.deanacres.com to listen to prior shows and view helpful videos. Also, great tips to download. Thanks again. See you next week.